When it comes down to crime, America got to be one of the most dishonest places on the face of the earth. Now, if you remember, I did a video on mind control, how whites use mind control on blacks to keep us docile. Now, we know this is heavily used in the media to broadcast out into the world how horrible black people are. My ladies and gentlemen, we are far from horrible people. And we definitely are not the criminals that they claim. This is why every time they make these accusations of us being criminals, you notice the ones that make the accusation never show you anything as far as statistics are concerned. They just run their mouth because they can't. They can't. They can't show you nothing. Or if they do try to show you something, they try to show you something from some white supremacist website and not the actual numbers from the FBI, because they can't do that. If they do that, then it really blows away everything they're saying. America went from having black people on the plantation to having blacks on a different kind of plantation called prison. So we literally went from being slaves to being criminals. Now, how did they do this? Well, see, after slavery, the prisons went up all across the country because they knew they were going to try to grab you up and throw you back into slavery some kind of way. So prison was their meal ticket in getting you back into slavery. Now, how did they do it? If you look at the history, vagrancy, a bunch of bogus crimes, vagrancy, you didn't have ID, you didn't have a job. Those are some of the reasons they got black people in prison right after slavery. It was BS reasons. What do they do now? What they do now is they stop you. They will plant drugs or a gun on you and then arrest you. Or they'll pin a crime on you that you did not do. There is an awful lot of innocent people sitting in the jails of America. And if you notice, the white population is completely unfazed by this. You know why? Because they knew this was going to happen to black people. They knew it. This is why, if you notice, they never put up a protest about it. They never say anything. They never try to change their system to keep innocent people from going to jail because they don't care. It's not happening to them in high numbers like it's happening to black people. So their entire attitude about innocent people being put in jail, that right there says it all. The fact that their cops are out here planting evidence on the black citizens all the time should also be a clear indicator that we're not committing the crimes that they're claiming. This is why they have to stop you and create a situation with you, because we are not committing crimes like that. We're just not, never have. The media in this country is in place to destroy the black man, woman, and child, and always keep us in an oppressive state by always broadcasting out to the world how horrible the black population is in America. Oh, these people, oh, if it wasn't for them, we would be fine. It's all bullshit. Their entire system is a bunch of BS, ladies and gentlemen. Their entire system is. America cannot stand without slavery. America would never have became rich without slavery. Now they have you jailed, and all of these corporations across the country are using prison labor to make their products. America cannot survive without slavery in the past and in the present through the prison system. Without the prisons, America will fall. And who are most of those prisoners, whether you're in there justly or unjustly? Black people. The same people that were in slavery are the same ones they aim to keep in jail the most. And they do this. Number one, targeting us. Number two, always coming up with some bogus shit. You're resisting arrest. You're resisting arrest. Well, you had to do something in order to resist arrest. So what's the charge? You notice they fail in many cases to tell you what you've done. You know why? See, a cop in America get promoted for the arrest they make. So do you really think an organization that started as the Slave Patrol gives a shit if they arrest a bunch of black people? Hell no. Hell no. They don't give a damn. Black people are falsely accused of crimes in this country every day. Now, if you want to say black people are the most violent, but you make very few mistakes in your legal system, then I might listen to you. But your legal system is so badly flawed, and so many innocent people are falsely accused every single day in America, I can't take you seriously when you make those statements. I can't. And your system proves why I can never take you seriously. Black people are targeted primarily because a big part of the population, especially in the cities, are poor. They do not have the money to hire a high power lawyer that can get them out of things like our white counterparts can. You know, they are connected politically and they know judges, or, you know, or they can pay so much money to get their families out of things, where black people just simply don't have those type of connections in the system. It's the truth. Time magazine put out this article, The Wrongly Convicted, Why More Falsely Accused People Are Being Exonerated Today Than Ever Before. Okay? And this is because the same white population that enslaved us are the ones that are putting us in prison based on bold-faced lies. The same people. All right? At this point, black people, I just don't understand the psychology behind you wanting and desiring to be with these people. I myself, I have separated myself as much as I possibly could. I can go days without even seeing white people. And when I do, I don't interact with them unless it is just unavoidable. Then I will interact with them. But other than that, I do not go out of my way to have white friends or hang out with them or having long drawn out conversation. I am not interested. I am so over white people. It ain't even funny. I don't have those desires at all. And I just often wonder why so many of our people want to keep a connection to the most oppressive people on the face of the earth. They have not offered any kind of olive branch to the black community where we could say, okay, let's just clean the slate and start all over. Nothing. They're not even sorry. So why should I be concerned about having them around in my life, whether it's on a friendship level or anything else. I just simply don't. Okay, so let's get a little more into this article. For the third year in a row, the number of exonerations in the United States has hit a record high. Total of 166 wrongfully convicted peoples whose conviction dates back as far as 1964 were declared innocent in 2016, according to a report from the National Registry of Exonerations released Tuesday. On average, there are now over 3 exonerations per week, more than double the rate in 2011. And the vast majority of those exonerations, ladies and gentlemen, are Black men. Okay, the vast majority are Black men. Just understand, this is being done on purpose. This is being done on purpose. America has a long-standing history that goes back centuries for putting Blacks in jail right after slavery for any little bogus reason they could come up with. And it still happens to this day. So that's 3 exonerations in America per week. Now, what are these exonerations for? They're for many. There are a lot of murders that were pinned on Black men that they did not commit. And the evidence was there even when they got placed in jail, but they threw them in jail anyway. So 44% of the exonerations are for non-violent crimes. And then murder and manslaughter exonerations, 33% in 2016. So most of them non-violent crimes. And those non-violent crimes, a lot of times, in most cases, is drugs. And especially cops planting drugs on innocent victims. All right. America is never going to stop doing this to the Black population. I just want you to understand this. They're never going to stop putting us in there and trumping up charges and trying to play up that you are the most violent, because they are benefiting from doing that to you. So the next time a white person tell you Blacks are the most violent, that's why we get arrested, just let them know, no, we get arrested because you benefit from us going to jail, whether we committed the crime or not. And that's the truth. And this article is pretty much bringing that out. If we did the crime, they benefit because they get that prison labor, pennies on the dollar. If we didn't do the crime, they're still benefiting, because how many years go by before they get you out? We're seeing people that's been in jail for 20 and 30 years. All of a sudden, they find evidence to get them out. But look at how much labor they got out of that person. They benefit, ladies and gentlemen, for having you in there for crimes that you did not commit. See, when they try to say they had nothing to do with things, yes, they do. Not only do they have everything to do with it, they have everything to do with it now, because what are they doing to change the system? Absolutely nothing. And nothing is going to change unless we unite and we start standing together and saying, hell no. We have to practice as a group, not as individuals. You're not going to beat this system as an individual. You are going to have to come together and we become one as a group. And we give no one up to a racist white system. Plain and simple, we give no one up to them. Because historically, they have falsified too many things on Black people to get us in jail. Okay, so let's just go down a little further. Many points to changes in place, like Harris County, Texas, home to the city of Houston, where the County Conviction Review Unit has a total of 128 exoneration, or 15% of all exonerations in the U.S. since 2010. For the first full year of its operation, Harris County identified a problem that's likely systematic across the U.S. and has actively spent 2 years trying to right its wrongs. Well, why did you have a wrong in the first place? Because of systematic racism. That's why so many of our people are being placed in there. Okay, it started in 2014 when a reporter from the Austin American-Statesman reached out to the district's attorney's office to ask about something he had noticed: a steady stream of year-old drug convictions were being overturned. In many of these cases, the so-called drugs were actually legal substances, like over-the-counter medications that had been initially misidentified by faulty field test kits. The field test kits, which have been around since the 1970s and cost $2, are simply chemical cocktails that change color when illegal drugs like cocaine are added. But the color also changes when exposed to dozens of other compounds, yielding false positives. Again, what are they doing to change these things, ladies and gentlemen? Absolutely nothing. The district attorney's office asserted that there was a backlog of these drug cases in which the defendant had plead guilty. A lot of times they were forced to take a plea deal. We know that's happening all around the country, where these innocent people, they kind of force their hand into taking a plea deal. In addition, Harris County now no longer accept guilty pleas in drug cases until the substance has been tested in a lab. But believe me, ladies and gentlemen, the labs in America are flawed. Okay, they really are. It's remarkable about Harris County is that the crime labs there have tested suspects' drugs even after a guilty plea, according to Gross. This is not done in many other counties, and in many jurisdictions, evidence is destroyed once a defendant pleads guilty. All right. So, all right, let's go down a little further. Kim Ogg, who was sworn in as Harris County District Attorney in January, says she plans to keep the Conviction Review Unit open in order to make a judicial system more trustworthy. In total, she says the office has alerted 317 individuals in drug cases where no controlled substance was found, and 148 cases are still pending. But you know what really sucks? These people have to sit in jail until they move at their snail's pace to get them out. Again, enslaving people and keeping them working, until you get these things overturned. And it could take years. That's the thing. It can take years and years for them to get to all of these individuals. It's not like they can get to it in the next 30 days. They can't. They move at a snail's pace in the American justice system, which is another thing that really sucks. Racial bias is particularly stark in cases where numerous defendants were exonerated together, separate from the individual exonerated in the national registry. An additional 18,040 defendants have been cleared in a group of 15 exonerations across the country since 1989. The great majority of these groups were framed for drug cases that never happened, and likely a great majority of these groups were predominantly Black. Other biases are evidence in gross analysis. For instance, sexual assaults by Black men on white women are a small minority of all sexual assaults in the US. You hear that? But they keep trying to put that stigma on Black men, and it's just simply not true. Black men are not raping these white women like they're trying to portray. It's just not happening. Again, it goes back to something that I said before. They're trying to make it seem like Black men are lusting for white women, or we desire them so much. That's why they keep putting that narrative out there, and it simply ain't true. But they make up half of sexual assaults, with eyewitnesses misidentification. Other disturbing trends reinforce the widely documented racial bias that Blacks face at every step of the system. They are more likely to be targets of police misconduct. They receive harsher sentences than whites for the same crimes, and for violent crimes like murder and sexual assault. They spent several years longer in prison before exoneration. And like I said, it's just to keep that prison labor going. They got to keep you in jail to keep the prison labor going. All right. So we know this. I'm going to put the article, the link to this article in the description box. So if you click all the way through to YouTube, you'll be able to see this particular article that came out in March 2017 in Time magazine. All right, so now we know about the exoneration, and the wrongfully convicted always seems to be pointing to Black. Let's take a look at the FBI table, which is the last one that came out in 2015. 2016 should be coming out in the next few months. But if you could see offense charge in this country, white people are charged with more crimes than any other group in America. They are charged with 69.7% of the crimes in America. All right. 69.7, ladies and gentlemen. That's almost 70% of the crimes in America they are charged with. Black people are charged with 26.6% of the crimes in America. And I will leave the link to this FBI Table 43 from 2015. I am dying to see the next statistics come out for 2016 because of all the drug crimes that are now taking place. I'm sure the Caucasoid population is going through the roof right now. So again, this is the trickeries they're playing on Black people in the media and just among the Caucasoid population, where they keep spewing this, oh, you're 13% of the population, but you commit 50% of the crime. And as you can see, we're not even close to committing 50% of the crimes in America. But they, on the other hand, they're getting arrested at 70% of the crimes. Okay? And we are under 30%, as you can see right here. So just understand, they have an agenda. Part of being oppressed is always trying to make you feel bad about who you are and the group of people that you come from. But I'm just telling you, Black people, don't fall for the head game. Don't fall for their scam. They have to do this by design. This is how they keep themselves at the top and keep you at the bottom. And by justifying, oh, well, you're the criminals and this is why we have to do this. It's BS. Okay, there's no bigger criminal in America than the white race. And it's been like this since the beginning, and it's still like this now. Okay, they came into America as the killers in order to steal this country. And they are the ones that do all the killing in order to maintain their place at the top. All right, but they are a dying race. So there's only so much killing they can continue to do. But their day of retribution is coming, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. But I just wanted you to see this so you know plain and clear you are not the big criminal in America, nor have you ever been, nor are we 13% of the population. They've been lying about that all along, too. Now, if you were really a criminal, wouldn't that just stand for itself? Why would you have to have so many cops out here lying and falsifying things and all white juries putting black people in jail? Because it's the only way they can keep subjugating the black community. It's not that you're doing these things. They just have to keep their legal system as white as possible, their juries as white as possible, their cops as white as possible, their teachers as white as possible, because if they relinquish those things, they no longer have the power. That's the only way these people know how to stay in control is through violence, killing, lying, raping, even to this day. They're killers all over the globe. They're always bombing out a nation and making false claims on a nation. We haven't heard one accurate thing about even the Gulf War. All we get is a boatload of lies. And why they had to go into Libya and kill Gaddafi. Lies. Lies. And then what do they do to the black population here in America? Lies. Lies to keep you in an oppressive state. Lies to get you in jail. Lies to keep you from getting employment when you get out of jail. And it never ends. This is why our unity is very, very important. We can't get so comfortable with oppression that we no longer fight the system. We can't. All right, now I want you to also notice another thing. All of the police shootings where black people are killed. Now remember, they keep this narrative up that blacks are the most violent. But if you look, in 2016, 258 black people, according to a project by The Guardian that tracks police killings in America, 39 of these people were unarmed. 4 were killed by police stun guns, and the other 9 in custody, a continuing problem in American jails. It's a problem because, see, America don't have a black people problem. America has a white cop problem. That's what the problem is. The problem is your average white cop on the police force that's really Klansmen with a badge that are out to get black people at all costs. See, if America was really honest, they would weed these people out. But you notice all through the centuries, they don't weed these people out at all. They want them there. They want them there. They think having this type of cop is keeping us in check. Okay, that's why they don't want this kind of cop off of the force. They like that kind of cop there. But I want you to notice, like the Post found that 34% of the unarmed black people killed in 2016 were black males, which is quite disproportionate since Black men make up 6% of the US population. There was also a considerable uptick of deaths caught on camera via cell phone and police cameras. Now, I just want you to notice as I scroll down, that's Terrence Crusher, Alton Sterling. We have Mike Brown. We have a long list. Tamir Rice. Now, they keep pushing this narrative that we are just so violent. We are inherently violent. And I want you to take notice to the fact that every time these police stops happen, they happen for non-violent reasons. They're not for no most violent crimes. And that is something I want you to always take notice when these videos come out. It's always non-violent reasons, whether that Black man was on his 2 feet or driving a car, that he was stopped in the first place. No one is getting stopped for no most violent crimes. So I want you to know that part of overcoming the system is stop believing anything that is said. So we have to now no longer listen to these devils when they get on their media talking about how terrible we are. And we have to also shut down the coons that are mouthing the same words that the enemy is saying about us. We have to come together, Black people. The only way we are going to defeat these devils if we come together. It's not going to happen any other way. Please leave your comments and subscribe. And if you can donate to my channel, please do. Peace, family.